Hello and welcome. Welcome back to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and this is the Calm Clinician series. And today is going to be such a great day because we are talking about the last letter in the PAUSE acronym, P-A-U-S-E. And if you're just tuning in and you haven't caught the previous episodes in the Calm Clinician series, girl, I'm telling you, it's worth it. It is such a phenomenal series on how to find your own empowerment and calm at work, in your life, in your work-life balance, in your presence, in the most precious moments, and in lighting your life through happiness. It really is such an awesome opportunity for you to really find that deeper sense of fulfillment and happiness in your life that I know you've been craving. So today we are on letter E. And this lesson really can stand on its own. So please do not pause this episode and go back and listen. Those are waiting for you and it's beautiful. And today, what I'm sharing with you is it time to evolve your thinking? So E stands for evolve. Evolve your thinking. This is a big one. This is a big one because you don't realize how powerful you really are. You don't even realize, I had no idea how powerful I am and how powerful those thoughts in my head are. Because your thoughts create your feelings. So every thought you have is literally creating a new feeling in your body, and a feeling being a hormonal cascade, a neurochemical cascade, a neurochemical cocktail that is making your body feel a certain way and influencing your behavior, influencing your reactions, influencing how you show up, influencing how you speak, influencing how you lead, influencing how you treat your patients, influencing how you speak to your children. Your thoughts literally create your reality. What? It's true. Because every thought you think leads to an emotion, and that emotion colors or influences your behavior, your reactivity, or your presence, or your calm. And then that behavior or activity results in an outcome. And that outcome usually reinforces the thought. Am I right? Here's the truth. It's so fun to think about this from a biological standpoint. Human beings have these beautiful, brilliant minds, and we don't realize it. 40% of our brains is our frontal lobe. 40%. The next closest animal to us, chimpanzees, 15 to 20%. Their frontal lobe is 15 to 20% of their brains. And humans have 40%. Interestingly, elephants, who you all know I have a very close love for elephants, coming from South Africa. And if you've ever looked into elephants, they're just miraculous animals. But elephants have 20 to 25% of their brain as their frontal lobe. But let's please recognize humans have double that in terms of percentage. And you know how smart you think your dog is? Your dog's frontal lobe is 10 to 12% of their brain. So it's not our opposable thumbs. It's our frontal lobes that set us apart from all other animals. And the reason why that's so important is because by thinking a single thought, that's what we use our frontal lobes for, among other things. But by thinking a single thought, you can create a feeling in your body. You can create anxiety. You can create sexual turn on. You can create calm. You can create happiness. You can create depression. You can create fear. By simply thinking a single thought, it literally changes the dynamics of your body and influences your behavior. This weekend, I was watching some reruns and clips from the Olympics. The Olympic athletes know this. They've known this for a very long time. It's what makes them great. And if you watch Simone Biles when she's getting ready to do her magic on the floor, Watch her lips. She is incanting to herself a thought. She is speaking to herself. She is serving her mind the words her mind needs in order to feel the way she wants to feel. Brilliant. Masterful. That is what we all have the capability to do, but it's intentional. It needs to be intentional because the truth is that we have 60,000 thoughts a minute. Did I just say that? I meant 60,000 thoughts a day. Sometimes it feels like 60,000 thoughts a minute. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. And of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of them are negative, are us beating ourselves up, berating ourselves, telling ourselves that there's something to be scared for, that there's danger lurking out there, that we should be worried, telling ourselves how bad we are, that we're not good enough, that we're late, that we're always disappointing people, that we're just hanging on by a thread. 80%. Isn't it time to evolve your thinking? That 80% of your thoughts that are negative is not stuck. It's not fixed. That's the part we get to evolve. We get to evolve our thinking the way Simone Biles does so expertly in her incredible routines. She's speaking to herself, and if you watch her words, her lips, you can read her lips and see what she's saying. She's saying, "You're amazing. You've got this." We get to evolve our thinking. So let's for a moment just take a step back in this beautiful pause acronym and ask ourselves, what are thoughts? Anyway, what are thoughts? All that thoughts are neuronal connections. They're two neurons talking to one another. That's physiologically what's happening. That's it. It doesn't make it this brilliant moment of truth. So many of the thoughts you think are not true. So where are they coming from? They're a series of habituated patterns that have been fed to you over time from the places you grew up, the environment you grew up in, your parents, your teachers, your religious environment, your education, dental school, social media, the things you've read, the podcasts you've listened to, but you get to question it all because none of it is necessarily true. None of it. And so much of it just becomes habituated repetition. So if you were told when you were little that you weren't good enough, or your mind made that mean you weren't good enough, some event outside of yourself that you had no impact on, that you couldn't control, and you made that mean, oh, I'm not good enough. Some teacher once told you that your work wasn't up to par, and you thought, oh my God, I'm not good enough. And then you thought that again. And then on the playground, when the other girls on the playground were playing a game and they didn't choose you, you thought, wow, there it is again. See, I'm not good enough. And then in dental school, when you failed your first clinical exam, you made that evidence again. Wow, I am not good enough. And then when you're sitting in your dental office and your office manager gives her 2 weeks notice, what's the habituated thought that comes back because you've been practicing it for decades and decades? I'm not good enough. Or when your 7-year-old bites someone at school. I don't know, do 7-year-olds still do that? Maybe it's a 4-year-old. Well, hell, let's say your 7-year-old bites someone at school. Let's make it really feel uncomfortable. What's the first thought you'll think? I'm not good enough. None of it is necessarily true. Our thoughts get so practiced. Isn't it time we evolved our thoughts? Those thoughts that were often first created when we were very, very young, from this beautiful young little mind that made meaning of something that had nothing to do with her. Isn't it so interesting how we allow ourselves to evolve in so many other ways? Like we allow ourselves to evolve in our knowledge of math, in our knowledge of philosophy. And, I know you, doctors and dentists, we're lifelong learners. We love to evolve our thinking on new ways to do things. And, maybe it's something fun like social media. Like I'm going to learn now how to do social, or chat GPT, AI, right? We allow ourselves to evolve in so many ways. And yet we never consider that we can evolve in our thinking. And it's all within our power. that beautiful, powerful 40% of your brain. That's so powerful that it can instantaneously, within millimicroseconds, cause a chain reaction in your body that either supports you or hurts you or works against you. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with your body. It's just doing what it needs to do. If the thought you're thinking is, I'm not good enough, then your body's getting ready for fight or flight immediately. It's not doing anything wrong. It's going, oh, shoot, she's not good enough. Get ready to run. Get ready to fight. Get ready to freeze or get ready to beg for forgiveness because she thinks she's not good enough. I know you've heard at the end of every episode, I say, when you feel good, you can do good. That's what I'm talking about. That right there is exactly what I'm talking about. When your body is in a calm, beautiful, safe, confident space, that's when we make great decisions from leadership perspective, from caring for our patients perspective, from parenting perspective, communication. Our words are more well thought out and well spoken when we're in a place of calm confidence. That's why I created the Calm Clinician series, because I believe when you feel good, you can do good. And when you feel stressed and overwhelmed, you go into fight or flight, and the things that you say out of your mouth, you can't trust because you're just fighting or fleeing or freezing or fawning. That's it. Your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's protecting you. But when you can create your own sense of protection in your body and say to yourself, sweetheart, I've got you. You are good enough. You can do this. You are so brilliant at what you do. You are learning every day. This moment was a moment of learning, and now you have new information, new insight. How could you ever expect yourself to know something before you know it? Now you know it. Let's go. You get to be your own greatest cheerleader, just like Simone Biles. And she's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Of course. That's it. You get to evolve your thinking. So the question is, what do you need to feel? Because when you ask yourself, what is the thought I need to think to feel the way I want to feel? Boom. What is the thought I need to think to feel the way I want to feel? Simone Biles standing there getting ready to do her incredible routine. She asks herself, what is the thought I need to think in order to feel the way I need to feel? I need to feel confident AF. Boom. What is the thought you need to think to feel confident AF? Imagine this. 3 days away from work, 3 days away from your regular life, from your family, from the day-to-day hustle and bustle, to just rest and reconnect with you. Here's the truth. Nobody knows you like you do. Nobody knows the joys and the sorrows and the fears and the frustrations and the stresses and the overwhelm and the exhaustion and your patients and your team and your family. Nobody knows what you're going through better than you. Nobody knows what brings you joy and fuels you and fulfills you. Nobody knows your dreams and desires like you do. And the secret to how to access the beautiful wisdom inside of you, the guru inside of you, waits for you at the Empower Her retreat. This incredible retreat happening this October 17th through 20th is an opportunity for you to fall back in love with yourself, to identify your directional compass, and to lean into trust, self-trust, the trust of that inner wisdom. www.empowerherretreat.org. Join us there. Sign up. There are only a few spots left. This is your opportunity to change the direction of your life. I'm going to share the story with you. I've shared it here before on the podcast. And it's about a time when I was treating a patient and I was terrified. So this didn't always happen to me in practice. I love ortho. I love what I do. It was more like parenting that would cause me a lot of stress, or leading my team, or growing my business, or feeling confident in my ability to, succeed, or worthy in my worthiness to take a break. Like, that's really where I had a lot of challenge. But on this one day, I had a gentleman who had a SARPE. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a surgically assisted rapid palatal expansion. He surgically had his upper jaw severed from the rest of his skull base, and I was in charge of helping him make it wider. And I have this metal appliance and expander in his mouth, and we are going to start now on this day, turning the key. He's 3 days out from his surgery. He is super swollen, feeling very uncomfortable, and he walks into the office today is the day I'm going to start showing him how to do this expansion. And I'm in my orthodontic office with an open layout, meaning there are no walls between my patients. There's a floor full of little young impressionable minds. That's the purpose, so that they can learn from other experiences around them, and my whole team. And this gentleman walks in, and I've done this before many, many, many times. And we sit down, and I say to him, okay, let's just take a look. How are you feeling? Of course. And I take a look inside, and the expander appliance has come off of his teeth on one side. Just like this, fear washed over my entire body. And the reason why is because this man has been through surgery, 3 days out from a significant facial surgery. His top jaw is no longer connected to the skull base. It's in pieces. I have to take this expander off, clean out the glue, and jam it back on there with quite a bit of force. And immediately, I went into fight or flight. And I'm going to walk you through how I use the PAUSE acronym, because it saved my life. I say that. That's so funny that I say that, because that's literally what I thought. I'm going to die. I thought my life was on the line. Now, maybe you wouldn't have this experience under these circumstances, but that's where my body went. I'm going to die. And isn't it so crazy how that sometimes happens? Like, something small can happen in your life and you think, oh my God, I'm going to die. And when we have that thought, your body goes into fight or flight. The thought happens so instantly, you don't even recognize. It's so miraculous how brilliantly fast those neuronal connections, synaptic connections happen, boom, like that. And then the feeling comes, and it's like you can feel it in your body. So here we go. Ready? Pause. Always. I mean, that really is the superpower. The acronym itself is the whole secret. Pause. Instead of rushing through or making a decision, or literally, I think what I might have done is called the oral surgeon, which is fine, right? I would have handled it fine. But in that moment, what I needed to do was pause. P, pay attention. Immediately, I paid attention to my body. What is happening in my body? I felt my heart racing. I felt my breathing very, very rapid and out of control. So I immediately started some slow breathing to try and just bring my heart rate down, because this man is literally sitting in my chair. The way I position my patients, he's like his head is in my lap almost, right? I've got my hands on his face. So of course, energetically, he can feel my anxiety. Of course, we're lying to ourselves when we think that's not true. So I brought my calm to the moment by literally taking some nice, slow, deep breaths and bringing my body back to calm. That was P. A, assign the emotion. Fear. That was easy. Assign and acknowledge. Yeah, I'm scared. Immediately, I'm scared. Acknowledge the thought. The thought was, I am not good enough. I've screwed this up. I screwed it up to begin with. I screwed it up when I glued it in. I'm not good enough to handle the situation. It all the thoughts that were fueling this stress were coming right down to, I'm not good enough. Okay, let's go to the PAU. Uncover. Uncover where this thought is coming from. And is this thought really mine? Is the thought of I'm not good enough really mine? No. That thought came from someone else who a long time ago told me that I wasn't good enough. That was never mine to begin with. That thought is not true because it was not mine. S, support, self-support. What do I need? In this moment, I need to feel like I am good enough, like I've got this. Like I need to feel deep sense of confidence. I need to feel like an amazing orthodontist, like an amazing leader of this team standing behind me, like a practice owner who knows what she's doing, who's got this, who can handle anything. That's what I need to feel like. I need to feel like I am fully capable. So in that moment, I evolved my thinking. What is the thought I need to think in order to feel what I need to feel? And immediately I knew I needed to think, damn, Tarryn, you are an amazing, brilliant orthodontist. You are a brilliant orthodontist. You are kind and compassionate and an incredible leader. Okay, I start feeding myself that thought. Tarryn, you've got this. You're an amazing orthodontist and a brilliant, incredible leader and creative problem solver. You've got this. You are kind and compassionate. You care deeply about your patients. Literally closed my eyes and allowed myself to hear that thought evolve my thinking. And just like that, my body calmed. And the phenomenal thing about your body calming is the moment you can bring yourself from fight or flight to parasympathetic calm, you now gain access back to executive function. It's like when you're in stress and you're in this fight or flight place, there's a brick wall that literally cuts you off from your intellect, your compassion, your humanity, your higher self. And the moment you feed yourself the thought you need to think and your body calms down and you feel the way you want to feel, because when you feel good, you could do good, guess what? Boom, you can access it again. And I remembered, oh yeah, the moment the oral surgeon severed those bones, he also cut all the nerves, all the nerve fibers. So this gentleman can't feel a damn thing. I can take my time. I can use as much pressure as I need to. I can walk through the steps I need to. I can take off this expander using the force I need and hold his maxilla in my hands while my dental assistant cleans it properly in her calm way. And the more calm I was, guess what? The more calm she was. So she did a really good job. Because if I'm really stressed out, she's going to feel that stress and she's going to rush through it thinking she's helping me and she's not going to get out all the old material. Guess what? I'm an amazing leader. I'm reminding myself. And I said to her, Dawn, I'd love for you to please clean this out. And then can you make sure that you really air abrade the inside so that we could get him a really good coat of the new bonding agent? She's calm. She doesn't even know what's going on. Absolutely. Take your time. I'm going to sit and chat with him right here while we're sitting here waiting for you. And I'm massaging his cheeks and I'm talking to him and I'm making him feel better and I'm giving him some advice on things he can eat and how he can take care of himself. And when she came back, I jammed it with as much force as I needed to, and he didn't feel a thing. But having that clarity was solely found in feeding myself the thoughts I need to think in order to feel the way I need to feel. And that is how we evolve our thinking. What? Is it that simple? You can allow yourself to evolve your thinking. And only you know what you need to feel. Imagine a world where we taught our children how to believe in themselves. Imagine a world that you become the voice that you always needed. You've been listening to the voices of so many other people for so long, from your entire childhood and growing up. Isn't it a time to evolve the voice that you're listening to? To choose the thought you need to think in order to be the person you need to be? That only you knows how to be. I feel so passionately about this because it has made such a huge difference in my entire life. In my entire life. And if you haven't heard of the Empower Her retreat, it's happening this October, 17th through 20th. I'm inviting a very small group, 8 women in dentistry, to come to this beautiful place in the Isle of Palm, South Carolina. And these 8 women are going to learn how to develop this deep sense of self-trust. We are going to pull you out of your everyday work and home, because that is how we gain new perspective. You're getting amazing insight here on the podcast, but imagine after you just had a phenomenal clarity in this podcast, but imagine what it would be like if you had a 3-day retreat with me, fueling you with this incredible insight and support and practices to allow you that deep sense of self-trust, because that's what it comes down to. Because when you can trust yourself that you can face anything and persevere, and let's be honest with ourselves, you already have. Just for a second, recognize how much you've already been through and how much you've already come through. The evidence is already there. Imagine 3 days with me serving you in that way, the kind of woman that you would leave from that retreat. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes to the Empower Her retreat, and you can find this landing page at empowerherretreat.org. I know, I got that. I got that URL, empowerherretreat.org. And make sure that you get in on that incredible retreat, because you deserve to be there and you deserve to live your very best life. You deserve to trust the one person who will always have your back, and that is you. And remember this, when you feel good, that is when you can do good. Bye-bye. Hey, beauty, if you enjoyed this episode, then like and subscribe to the show and receive this beautiful message of empowerment, remembering what you are capable of and the purpose you serve in this world every single week. And if you know of a colleague who needs this message, share this episode with her. This is how we raise the collective in healthcare, reminding one another and supporting one another. Community is the answer. This is how we grow it. And lastly, I invite you to a phenomenal in-person event this October 2024, the Empower Her Retreat, exclusively for women in medicine and dentistry on the beach. It will change your life. And I cannot wait to see you there. Check out the details in the show notes and have a phenomenal day remembering that you are enough.